Something to talk about? Call Justi Smith on 2UE. Anytime, about anything. 13 13 32.
Yeah, jump in anytime you like. It's 3:10. All through this year, there have been rumblings about the changes to the Constitution. Recognise, the campaign is called, to include Aboriginals in the preamble. I've mentioned this a few times, but it has got to be one of the biggest wastes of time in Australia. And here is why. I've said it before, nobody, including most lawyers, have a clue what is in the document as it is. The Constitution is outdated, has been almost from the day it was written. It says nothing about Prime Ministers, it says nothing about the Cabinet, which are two of the most powerful bodies that we have in Australia, the Office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet. And the Governor-General, as far as the Constitution says, is the Commander-in-Chief of all the armed forces. As in, it would not be the Prime Minister who makes the decision to send off the troops, it would be the Governor-General. If we followed the Constitution, it is outdated, it is close to irrelevant, and except a few bits about the state being able to tell the federal government to bugger off once in a while, it is next to useless. So adding the Aboriginal people will do nothing, absolutely nothing for health. It'll do nothing for life expectancy. It'll do nothing for education, nothing for housing. And it won't do anything about the problems with alcohol and drugs, nothing. It is merely a political distraction. It will just make a handful of people think that they are in the running for a mention in the Australia Day Awards. But now there's a new idea floating around today, and that is to dedicate some Senate seats to Aboriginal people exclusively. It's getting the backing of people like Noel Pearson, Aboriginal leader, and, dear God, Jackie Lambie is also keen on the idea. So help me out here, because it seems like an awful idea and will only cause suspicion and hassles. Look, I've got to say, I love the thought of more Aboriginal people being in Parliament, but if they don't come in the same way as everybody else, all it's going to do is cause resentment. Look, although it's got to be a better system than the one that got Lambie and Ricky Muir in the front door. But here's another idea for you. Just try this one on for size. I'd love your thoughts on it. Put together a scholarship scheme that helps Indigenous people get into Parliament if they want to get elected. They can apply. If they've got what it takes and they're able to get through the process, then they could be helped out with a staff. They could be helped out with campaigning. They could help out with forming policy. That way, the responsibility falls back on the people to get elected, and it keeps their pride. But while the PM is touring in the Northern Territory for a week, sources from the government have been quoted in the Australian newspaper today, and it says that the PM is focused on the referendum to fiddle with the Constitution. The paper says he is concentrating on providing a timetable and definition for constitutional recognition of the Aboriginal people. Gee, I hope these sources are wrong, or that he or she, whoever said it, doesn't know what they're talking about. Because if that is the Prime Minister's focus, if that's all that this trip is about to the Northern Territory, we have just booked a one-way ticket right back to zero. The PM will get a few political points out of it if he can make it happen. And at the next election, when asked what he did about Indigenous people, he will have an answer. He might even feel a bit better. We might feel a little bit better, but nothing, absolutely nothing will change. Aboriginal people will still die way too young. Too many lives will be wasted through addiction, and we won't be any closer at all to understanding each other.